You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 321, and my name is Clark from 5cardguys.com. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube, all the same handle at 5cardguys. Co-hosting with me, as usual, is Hyung, who is at Cho Hyung on IG and YouTube. All right, so off the top today, the day has finally arrived for basketball card collectors who have been waiting for Topps to get the NBA license back because pre-orders for the 2025-26 Topps basketball set has begun. That means, of course, we're going to get the first licensed Victor Wembanyama autograph cards in his Spurs uniform. No more pajama uniforms. We should also see the top rookie autograph cards coming in this set, which include guys like Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. I don't know if you know, but just like the recent Topps baseball card set, the design is very similar. And there's also going to be golden mirror variation cards for each player, as well as many other special inserts. So Hyung, first, how popular do you think this set is going to be? And two, with the first Wemby Spurs autograph card being the big chase, do you think it'll be more popular than his Topps Chrome rookie auto, which is, of course, is unlicensed?
So, one, I'm excited in general. I think it's great. I know a lot of people might disagree, and it's to be determined, obviously still. I have some feedback of what I've read on the Topps product, but first, I think there's going to be enormous hype, obviously.
Right.
I think everybody believes, I mean, if you've been around the card space the last 5 years, it's been like that with every big release, especially this has been anticipated for the last couple of years too, ever since we've talked about it, from the beginning of it to actually now, I guess, the day has come officially, yes. Right? So I'm excited. Overall, I think it's great, but we got to remember it's a paper product.
Right.
And we all know what we feel about the paper product on the baseball side, right? So, and I see some similarities like the golden, I guess, image variation, which is cool, which I like. I think the roster is great. I think having, obviously Cooper Flagg is the chase, but also the Wemby autos, and LeBron autos, Curry autos, they're all in play. So for that aspect, I think it's great, but it is a paper product. So I don't know how much, I don't think it's the product yet. I think Topps Chrome, we're all waiting for. Yeah,
I agree. No, right? I'm glad you mentioned that it is a paper product, but nonetheless, because it is the first, licensed product by Topps in over a decade. I think the last one was 08, 09. There's going to be tremendous interest. I even signed up for the pre-orders and hoping to get at least one box. For me, I'm just doing it for the content, but you're right. As a collector, I'm waiting for the Topps Chrome product for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And a couple things though, like I don't know how I feel about the parallels.
What do you mean?
So we're used in Topps paper products, we have, the golds, you have,
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
It was like a clear cut. There was a number variation parallel or a number parallel. And then, I don't know how I feel about the parallel because what we have in baseball, it's a boring rip. And series 1, series 2 would be like 300, a roster of 300. And same thing, it's basketball, a roster of 300. That's a lot. And there's no parallels. Or there's like 5 parallels or whatever it is.
There are different variations, but they're not your typical color parallel cards.
Right. So my question is, how boring of a rip would it be with a lot less parallels? You know what I mean? And then the inserts didn't look
I do.
like too excited. Like I was like, the inserts were kind of boring, right? Or at least make the inserts chrome.
Right.
Or
They're
are they
saving? Yeah. Or is it foil? It might be.
That's
foil.
what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, those are my size.
Right. I didn't know about I didn't even think about the color parallels. But at the same time, there are people I know that are going to say, good riddance. We don't need that many different color parallels. You know, maybe you keep the true ones, but I don't even know if we have that in the Topps paper, right?
But that's the problem, though. It's like, if you don't have that many parallels, how boring, the rip's going to get even more boring than it is because there's nothing to pull.
I think the bigger question is, how much is this box going to cost, right? So if it's, $400 or $500, then yeah, I might be hesitant to buy one. Like a hobby box, I mean, right?
I think it'll get there in the secondary market.
In the secondary, yes. But if you're comparing it to Topps baseball, you're probably looking at between 150 to 200. But
Correct.
Even then, I feel like I wonder if it's going to be more than that because I haven't seen any of the pricing anywhere on the Topps website. And I guess we're going to find out really soon with the pre-orders coming out on, I believe, Friday when this episode airs. So we'll find soon enough. But those are good questions. Yeah, those are good questions. I want to go back to the second question I asked because I think it'll be interesting to see the value of the different Wemby cards that are out there, right? So you'll have this Topps paper, Victor Wembanyama autograph card, but it is technically his third-year card, but it is his first licensed. You have the Topps Chrome rookie auto, but that, of course, is unlicensed. And then you got your Prism rookie license card, but no auto. So out of those three, which one do you think will have the best value over time, or which one do you think will be just most popular?
I would say let's separate the autos from the Prism, but for me, the autos, I think the non-licensed is long term. Like I said, it's like I think people forget that it's a year or 2 years earlier, and they want the uniform. They want the license. I don't care what anybody says. That always been part of the hobby. Okay. Right? And I think that's going to stand true in the future. Mm-hmm. It's just going to always be a more valued card. With that said, I also think the Prism is also going to be a very desirable card just because, obviously they don't have the autograph license, but it's his true rookie card, right? Yeah. So there's value there. And then obviously there's going to be a demand for Topps Chrome autos, first uniform coming up. Right. So I think those will get a lot of attention. The paper autos might, but like I said, you've seen them and they're called real one autos now. So that's another thing that like Topps Heritage used that terminology. So they're bringing that as the flagship auto apparently of Topps paper. So in the future, maybe this is a thing. Maybe they're onto something where, flagship is a thing and people like paper product. So I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always changing my mind. Every time you ask me, a month later, I'll change my mind again, I'm sure, right? But right now, I did a quick poll on my YouTube page at 5 Card Guys, and I asked, which autograph card do you prefer? The upcoming Topps paper auto, first licensed, or the Topps Chrome unlicensed but true rookie card, right? And I only got about 20 votes, but 76% voted for the licensed one, just Crazy. As you were saying. So I guess the unlicensed really devalues the interest in a lot of collectors. They don't want it. And I thought, I don't know, I was a little surprised by that, but now I'm just looking at the poll numbers and just talking with to you and to other people. I don't think it will retain its value that much. I mean, it'll still be valuable, but I think the others have room to grow. The licensed product for sure.
For sure. And here's a perfect example for it. There's a Luka card. It's kind of like unlicensed because it was before he was with the NBA. So it's like a couple years earlier, auto. And it was a Panini licensed card, but he didn't have his uniform on, right? His Dallas uniform on. So if you look back and see Luka autos and what's valuable now, even though it was 2 years before, no one that's not it doesn't mean it's more valuable because it's older.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's like a lot of people obviously like his, either Prism autos or Optic autos I love of Luka's. And that would be a lot more desirable than kind of like an unlicensed card, regardless if it's a year or 2 years earlier. So that's kind of the comparison I'm making with Wemby. I think Topps Chrome, just in general, just will fade because it was more of a fad. And I know Will really likes the prom pose, so
yeah,
there's that.
There'll be people that will always love the prom postcard for sure. But yeah, I think as of now, if you're asking me which one I would get, I think I'm sticking with Prism, the non-auto rookie. Like, I think that's his rookie card. If you're a true rookie card collector, I think you got to go with that, despite the non-autograph. And I'm waiting for like the Topps Chrome 1B autograph, if licensed autograph, if I'm looking to get one.
Too.
So that's where I'm standing. I'm sure, you and I aren't the only ones, but yeah, it'll be interesting debate to see, and how everything shakes out at the end. All right, let's move on to hobby headlines. So I don't know if you heard this news, but one of eBay's biggest power sellers, Rick Probstein, after more than 21 years as a seller on eBay, generating an estimated $925 million in sales for eBay, or on eBay, I should say. He announced that he's moving off of eBay to its own platform called Snype, which will offer reduced fees and more shipping options. So, as many of us know who sell on eBay, they take about a 13.25% cut on the total amount of sale up to $7,500. And then on the portion over $7,500, it's 2.35%, right? Compare that to Snype. Probstein is charging commission fees of 5% on an item under $1,000 and 3% for an item over $1,000. So just to give you some numbers, there was an article in collect.com, and it gave an example of what you would pay if you sold a $9,000 card on eBay. Your net would be $7,433 after that 13.25% cut. On Snype, that card would net the seller $8,730. So that's a $1,300 delta right there. So it's not insignificant. So having said all that, Hyung, how do you think this plays out? Do you think more people will try Snype, or is eBay in danger or not?
eBay is definitely not in danger. So there's that. But I don't mind it because I think sometimes eBay fees are excessive. So if we want to get to where it's reasonable, you need plays like this where
competition.
You need competition to keep everybody honest and keep value in the right hands. Or where, and this is where on the flip side, I know we've always talked about fanatics. This is where you keep the bigger boys in check. You need the smaller companies to form out there to say, hey, we could provide just as good of a service for a cheaper alternative. And that's the question ultimately this new company, what's it called, Snype?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, well, they're going to have to ultimately deliver. There's a lot of value that eBay has that, you know what, me as a seller, sometimes eBay at 13% is okay. I'm okay with that. And there's a lot of people that would trade the network of eBay for that percentage because sometimes I get more than what I thought I would in certain cards, right? And to me, that is the value of sometimes overpaying. It's not necessarily the cheapest wins always. I think over a long time as a seller, it's the one who provides the most valuable in the grand scheme of things, right? So I'll give you an example. Me as an eBay seller, sometimes I list a card randomly or best offer, and it's completely high number. You know, it's definitely not worth it, but I put the or best offer. And sometimes I get an offer that I'm like, you know what? I probably would have sold for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
And that's the value I think eBay has over whoever's trying to go against them or provide a cheaper service. And that's one thing that is going to be very difficult to do against eBay, is because you got to remember, it's great to provide a service at a low fee until it doesn't make sense business and financially. And then you have to adjust accordingly and realize, you know what? As you scale, as you grow companies like eBay, there's a lot more that you need to pay for to justify it. So like I said, it's great in the sense that you have something that is challenging eBay, but eBay itself, it's a multi-billion-dollar company for a reason. There's a lot of value that eBay brings. You can't just say, you know what, we're going to just take over eBay and it's just going to happen. It's like,
it's not that
there's
simple.
there's a lot of loyal customers, I think, to eBay.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and I know there are some people out there in the hobby that think it's eBay's got to watch out, but eBay's just a monster. It's has such a huge lead already, right? I agree with you exactly though in terms of more competition is always better. That's just a marketplace analysis, right? And I hope that a platform like Snype does well enough to make eBay sweat maybe even a little bit, because if they even lose a % of their market share, that could certainly add up, and they don't want to be on the wrong side of
For sure.
The trend of, maybe I'm going to try Snype because I've been hearing great things about the early adopters, the ones that have already jumped, and ones that just don't like eBay for whatever reason, and they're willing to try anything. I could see people like that, sellers like that, go to Snype right away.
For sure.
And then you got to see how they execute. We always talk about this, right? Every new thing that comes up, the idea sounds great, but if it's poor execution, it doesn't matter.
For sure.
No one's going to come back. No one's going to stick around. You got to really execute. So that'll be interesting to watch how Probstein does with its new platform. My question is the number of eyeballs on eBay. Like, is there going to be enough on Snype? Because people that are used to doing something, and a lot of us are just used to selling on eBay despite the 13.25% cut, which is, we always complain about. But it's so hard to get people to do something different unless it's absolutely worth it, and even more than what you think you can get value out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So on that note, one of the things that Snype is also offering is that bidders can get multiple items for lower costs by holding their items one on the site for 30 days and then getting a single package to save on shipping costs. Do you think that's enough, or do you think they need to do more?
They're going to have to do a lot more because you're competing with vault services,
Right.
So, I mean, to me, that's like you're bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Seriously, like we're talking, PSA could store your cards and you could sell it. We're talking about consolidation shipping on the flip side.
Right. Yeah. And so it's maybe it's just different customers, right? People who are like more investors wouldn't want to take advantage of Snype.
And I could see value there too. So it like I said, it might be more niche, but if we're talking about taking over eBay, like it's you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Yeah.
I mean, Probstein is definitely a power seller, and he's sold hundreds of millions. And I'm gonna miss seeing Probstein auctions on eBay, but as a collector, I'll check out Snype just to see if there's cards that can be had. Yeah. Like wherever the cards are, you're gonna go, and if Probstein keeps it up, he'll definitely have enough inventory to at least have people look and see what cards are available.
And in the end, I don't think it's a bad thing at all, because like we said before, when I used to buy cards, I would sometimes go on blowout forums. So that was an avenue that I would go to, and then eBay would be another one, and then Facebook forums would be another one, and Instagram would be another channel. So for having another channel to kind of just add to that whole hobby, I guess, family that you have, it's what's bad about it, right? Like, especially if there is niche services that provide value to the hobby and the community. And maybe that's the play for the next round of entrepreneurs is, hey, because I see a lot of hobby voices voice their opinion. Like, the hobby used to be great. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, there might be value catering to that niche, and it doesn't always have to be going against, the big boys, because the big boys sometimes don't want the smaller business, and there's a lot of business to be had on that side. So like I said, everything could coexist. It's not necessarily one or the other. I think, like I said, if they're trying to do that and that's their game plan, then like maybe it was a bad business deal, a negotiation deal between Probstein and eBay, and that this is the result of it. So like it might be a vendetta. Right. Who knows, right? So like I said, I hope that it's for the better, and they see it in the viewpoint of, hey, there's some value here, and we're providing it.
Sure. I mean, maybe Snype isn't, maybe their main mandate isn't to take over eBay, but they just want a smaller part of the market share that will keep them profitable. And, like you're saying, maybe they're looking for that certain niche. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, with what they're offering, or what they seem to be offering, anyone looking to buy bulk lots or cards, it might be just more financially, it might be a better move to just go on Snype than pay all those extra fees on top of buying lower end cards on eBay. So I don't know like how it plays out. Maybe Snype will have to pivot, seeing like, oh, these kind of buyers are really gravitating towards ours. Maybe we cater more to them. So
what would be the difference between like a ComC or something like that, like a website, another platform?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah. Oh, like, why have you bought anything on ComC?
I'm not a ComC guy. I can't do it.
Neither am I. But this is my question: why aren't we on ComC? Like, what don't we like about it? That, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm getting the same service from other platforms. Like, I don't need to, because when I search for cards, I find what I want with the current platforms I use.
Yeah. And for me, it's as simple as like, oh, the interface is just much better on eBay. When I see ComC, I'm like, I think I could have made that website myself. You know what I mean? I don't know if I trust myself if I made that website.
Yeah, user experience is definitely, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I guess like to add on what you're saying, how's Snype really different than Fanatics Collect, which is another platform, than Golden Auctions, which ended up being bought out by eBay?
Right.
Is this a long-term play by Probstein to have its own platform to be bought out by eBay so he can get a better deal on eBay? Who knows what the plan is, but it's or the option C, the hobby is growing so fast that there is room for every one of these platforms to accommodate certain different niches that are popping up now because of the growth of the hobby.
Yeah. It could be all of the above, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I thought it was an interesting development, but again, I think I'm sounding like a broken record, but just all signs that I'm really bullish on the hobby. These new developments, these new platforms, you wouldn't be seeing any of this if the hobby was trending the opposite way, if it was going down, right? All right. I thought if you guys have any thoughts yourselves on Snype or any new platform, or how eBay can, improve their services, we'd love to hear it, and we'll try to bring it up on a future podcast episode. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. It's called Over Under. I like to play this segment every once in a while, and because of the hobby boom, I'm upping the number this week, all right?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of cards that are selling for a healthy amount. Let's just say that. And so this week's number is over under $30,000.
Okay.
All right. First one, the iconic 2009. We talked about Topps, but 2009 Topps Chrome Stephen Curry rookie card. PSA 10.
Refractor?
Nope, just the Chrome version.
Chrome. Okay, so that's numbered to $9.99, or is it?
That is correct. $9.99. Yep.
Wow, $30K. Man, that card had to be. What was the price of that card? Just out of curiosity, if you have data, pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. So what?
2019. Let's say
2019. December 2019. It was 2,800.
Wow. Crazy. 30, and we're talking $30K right now.
At the peak in COVID, February 2021, it was 85,000.
That is nuts. So yeah, that is crazy that it's still at 30K, or at least this discussion.
Right.
But the graph, I guess, makes sense. Jeez. If it's over, I'm going to say under. It can't be over. I'm going to say it's under because I think that 85K was like, obviously that doesn't count. You look from 2019 and true value, based on true value. If it's 30K, over 30K, then the market's still really, really hot. Like it's crazy. Under.
So here's the point I'm making in this segment. I'm going to give you a clue, all right? You're saying under, but we're talking about this recent hobby boom. There's another hobby boom going on, right?
Yes.
And so certain cards are going up. March of 2025, all right? So not even a full year yet. It's sold for just over 17,000.
Right.
The most recent sale sold for 39,725.
Crazy.
October 1st.
Crazy.
Yesterday.
And I'm seeing that trend. I'm seeing that trend
Yes.
on certain cards.
Goat cards for sure.
And
Iconic
I feel
cards,
like
yes.
it's the play we talked about like a couple years ago when we talked about that strategy of true value of what big time money would want.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a scarcity of the highest brand value, which would be like your Topps Chrome or Bowman Chrome, depending on the card. But yeah, the trend is there for sure.
Trend is there. So now speaking of trend, second card, and speaking of iconic cards and GOAT cards, Michael Jordan, his 86 Fleer rookie card, PSA 9,
Right.
over under 30,000.
I'm going to say over just based on our last kind of conversation, and especially where, not saying you could compare a PSA 10 with a PSA 9, but I think what people realize is I can't get a PSA 10. The next best thing would be a PSA 9. So I would think, because there's such a huge gap of price difference between a PSA 10 and PSA 9, I think there's value in a PSA 9 still. So I'm going to say over.
You know, that would be a great reason and a great answer, but in this case, it's Hobby Logic. It sold at under 30K, sold for 23,900.
Right.
And PSA 9, yeah, PSA 9.
What was the peak price of a PSA 9?
The peak price for a PSA 9 was about 80,000.
80,000. So and then what was 2019 prices?
2019 was 6,000.
6,000. So very similar trend to Steph Curry. So I would imagine it would follow that trend in that future still, right? So I think it will be eventually over 30K.
Right. No, it's exactly the trend. It just happens to be under 30K, but earlier this year it was at 19K. So we're at what did I just say? 25K, right?
Yeah, so the trend is there. Yeah.
For PSA 9, and that's a good point. You're going to see that trend exponentially increased for PSA 10s, but it's slower for lower grades, I guess.
Right.
For PSA 9s or BGS 95s even.
Right.
All right. Card number 3. I'm staying with the GOATs. This is a GOAT edition, I guess. 2003-04 Topps Chrome Black Refractor, which is numbered to 500, of LeBron James, his rookie card. BGS 8.5. So there's a number of factors you have to consider here, but the grade, the refractor, numbered to 500, LeBron James Topps Chrome.
I'm going to go with over again, just because I would bet my money that majority of them will be over if they aren't already. So for me, these cards, what you're talking about is exactly what we've been talking about. It's grails that people would value if they had unlimited budgets, right?
Yes.
That's what you're up against, and especially the numbered cards. And that's why I think in the end, the fundamentals of buy what you love, not the grade, is so important. And people are realizing that is if it's numbered and it's rare, I don't care to have necessarily the PSA 10 because that's overpriced, but I'll still take the rarity in card. So for me, something like a black refractor, definitely on the upward trend, over 30K.
20,800. So under, but I think in this case, and I think that's a great deal, to tell you the truth, based on everything you mentioned too. But the BGS 8.5 might have played a factor. That's the only reason I could see. But honestly, I don't care if it's numbered to 500 and it's a card like that.
That's the exact
doesn't
point.
Matter as much.
That was the exact point I was trying to make. Is you think it's a great buy too, because regardless of the grade, like what would a PSA 10 go for just in general of that card? It would be ridiculous. Like it would, how many exist really? And was there ever a sale? Probably not. Right. So for me, it becomes like PSA 9, you might find a few sales, but I guarantee you that BGS 8.5 in reality is probably close to a PSA 9 in grade. So we're talking how many thousands of dollars of subjectivity of, you know, an opinion of one grader and the next. It's like over time, that card's going to be just as valuable because of its scarcity in the first place, right? So for me, that's the whole point. It's a great buy regardless of the grade, because if you buy based on just the card value itself, the value is there.
Agree. And that's something I'm sure Brent will also agree with, deep value investor in this case with the rarity over the grade for sure. Okay, I got 2 more. The 2018 Topps Chrome Rookie Auto Gold Refractor of Shohei Ohtani, numbered to 50, PSA 10.
Topps Chrome?
Yep. Gold.
Man, I'm just so upset at like how many times we talk about Ohtani and
I know
what prices were and what they are now is insane. So having a gold, I remember saying, you know what, I would buy the gold in a heartbeat for 10K. I would buy in a heartbeat 15K.
Yeah.
And then 20K, and now we're at 30K. And I'm gonna say over because the Shohei hype is crazy, and a premium plus for PSA 10 Chrome autos. Like, it's ridiculous. You're going to have a multiplier of PSA 10 gold or autos and gold at the same time. So I think people would value that card. Even 30K, I think it's worth more than that. As crazy as that sounds.
It's crazy, but 45,000 last sold price. So would you like it just keeps going up. There is no downward trend at all with Ohtani rookie cards right now.
I'm not going to open up a can of worms or a rabbit hole here, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it's not dangerous, but it would make sense if I were in that game. I would buy up all the rare cards right now.
Okay.
Because
of Ohtani?
Of any GOAT. And I think that's what's happening. It's like, I would be doing the same thing because
that's what O'Leary's doing essentially, right? He spent $20 million on the most rarest cards right now.
100%.
Yeah.
And that to me, it's like, it makes so much sense. It's like, this is what is literally driving the market right now, because at the top, at the highest level, you have people that view this as a huge asset class because of the scarcity and the magnitude of sports and where sports, hobby, memorabilia, this whole business structure is going. So if you have the highest grails of that multi-billion dollar industry,
yeah,
you're in early and you're buying up all the grails. Like who's to say that Shohei Ohtani gold, if it's a pop 1, maybe it's a pop 4, whatever it is. What if there's a $2 million sale on that one day?
Yeah. Very well possible
why
the way
can't
things
it be?
are going.
Yeah. We're talking about what happened to Mantle, $30 million PSA 10 Mantle. What's to say that Shohei of pop 3, because the Mantle pop 3 is, 30 million plus 50 million, whatever. Why can't that be 2 million?
It's just talking about this is getting me FOMO. I need to buy a Ohtani card.
30K is
not helping. It's not helping my wallet, okay? My financial situation.
I'm just saying,
talking about this more.
They don't want to open something up, but it's worth a discussion in the future.
You know what's funny? On the much lower end, I have a friend. His kid wants an Ohtani rookie card, and he's like, well, how much are they? I'm like, I mean, if you're getting a flagship one, even raw, he's thinking probably $10-$20. I'm like, no, it's over 100. It's over 200 at this point. You know what I mean? So he's like, what? Like a raw base tops paper rookie card of Ohtani's over 100. It is insane. His market is insane right now.
Yeah.
So, and look what he's doing in the playoffs. Hit a homer. He's about to pitch.
He's starting today.
What? Well, he's starting. Yeah. So he's a unicorn, truly a unicorn. So I need to pick one of his cards up soon before I'm priced out. Even of his, honestly, I'm looking at his non-rookie cards. That's what I'm looking at right now. So
it's the play, man.
It is the play right now for if you have a certain budget in mind. All right, one last one, and I had to do this because the last time you were on, Hyung, and then we're talking about Pokemon cards, there are 3 people that messaged me privately saying that was the funniest part of the episode. You trying to figure out what the Charizard is and if it's a male or female, or he's like, what is Hyung talking about? Just when people are like laughing.
It's fundamentals. Like, what am I basing this? I need an anchor, guys. I need a claw where my mind could understand and comprehend the logic of whoever's buying these things. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this on air, but Will had a great idea. He says we should have one full episode where Roy teaches you everything about Pokemon cards, and it's just your reaction to whatever he shares with you.
I would love that. I would love that.
Let's make that happen next month. We got to do that. That's a great idea, Will. We'll definitely make it happen. All right, so the 5th card is the 1999. All right, Pokemon base set, shadowless, first edition holo, thick stamp of Venusaur. I don't know if you even know what a Venusaur looks like, but it is one of the popular characters. A PSA 10, over under 30,000, and I'm sure you at least know the Pokemon card market is white hot right now.
It's definitely white hot. I'm just going to use basic fundamentals of supply demand. So can you give me like a pop count at least?
I sure can. Let me just look it up right now. The pop count is 143.
So, to my understanding, that's super low. Like, super low still. And
total PSA population is 3,422. That makes it a gem rate of 4.18%.
4.18%. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so, So, it's just a rare card in general.
It's a holo, so it's like kind of like your refractor, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Pop 148, 30K. I'm gonna keep this trend because the sports card market's hot, but Pokemon market is even hotter. So I'm gonna say it's over 30K. I could imagine that the time frame of the jump has been way quicker. So maybe within the last year or 2 years, not 5 years, the jump has been way crazier than sports cards. So I'm going to say over 30K.
Bang on, 38,500.
Wild.
As sold on September 29th. But earlier this year, just earlier in March 2025, sold for 12,888. So that's the market, Pokemon market right now. 13K to almost 40K in less than a year.
It's nuts, insane. This whole market is just insanity.
Which makes it so much fun. It reminds me of the COVID times a little bit, you know, it has that kind of feel to it.
It does.
But we've learned a lot of lessons, so we should be wiser in this
100%.
market, right?
And this is where, and this is not financial advice, must I add.
Right.
But
good disclaimer.
Like, I think it's so important to, you know, everything that you've learned is the reason why you're able to make calculated risks and maybe take advantage of opportunities that other people don't see that are out there. And I think, you know, we've learned from it, you know, in the past from mistakes, a lot of other people's mistakes, kind of talking about it, seeing about it. But, like you said, this is part of the journey too. It's like last few years, it wasn't like this. It was a lot of tears and emotions, a lot of people leaving the hobby.
Yes.
Right. So this is a time when you enjoy it, not complain. It could get worse, and it will get worse. But now, it's great.
Enjoy the ride. And actually, shout out to our boy Cajun Cardboard, Brian. He's been saying the same thing. He's like, I got killed in the 2022 correction, the crash, with some of his high-end basketball cards. And he's like, I've learned my lesson then, you know, and that's why he's unloading some of the cards now, because it's like it's all of a sudden worth a lot more than it used to be. And he's selling those cards and condensing his collection and investing back into more rare cards, kind of what we were saying earlier in this episode. So smart players will kind of adjust their strategy as the market changes and shifts, right? And honestly, for me, I'm just flipping a lot faster now. You know, if you get a good card, if you rip, or if you're lucky to buy a card low, and you see it pop off, guess what? I'm selling that, and then I'm going to reinvest into something that's a little more rare, a little, you know,
100%.
More stable in that sense, right? So, yeah, and certainly when the first time it was like I'm holding, and you're like, oh, here comes the crash. I guess I should have sold a lot earlier.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Just, this is random. Hopefully we could get it off quick. But speaking of flipping quick, Cal Raleigh, I find this SP image variation rookie 2022. Right. You know what? I barely knew it was a variation. I knew it at the time because obviously it was in a top loader. But now PSA 10s are selling for $500, and this thing looks like it could be a BGS 10.
Wow,
would you? Mm-hmm. What service would you send it off PSA? Would you sell it ASAP, or would you do a low service and kind of say, okay, this year is a wash. I'm going to wait for next year to sell this.
I'm selling ASAP. Express service, get it graded, list it, sell. Yes.
Okay, maybe I should do that.
Well, you thought differently?
Well, I just think I missed the boat. Like, it's too late. Even an express service is worth to pay $100, and then by the time you get it back, it's like November, December, and it's like, okay, I overpaid. I could have did a slower service because now I have to wait until spring.
I don't know. I loved watching Cal Raleigh season. It was magical, but I don't know if he can repeat it.
I don't think he'll repeat it. I'm just saying, because after the season, there's no baseball, and then he can't really hopefully go down unless he does something stupid, really. But the hype would be there in spring.
Maybe
not as much.
I think the hype is as well. So I guess for you're really hoping, other than the Jays going all the way, Seattle's the second team you're cheering for because of your Cal Raleigh cards. Because they're in the postseason too, right?
There's San Diego too. So for me, I'm building a sick, Tatis collection. So
that's
I
true.
still believe in him. But Yeah, it's more the timing. Like, do I overpay right now, but then I can't even sell it because the Express isn't quick enough, right?
That's true.
That's the
PSA's
only thing.
backlogged,
Or do I just send it off on a bulk order and then I get it back in February? I'm in less for it and I just sell it maybe at a lower cost, but I'm not paying more for the grading.
That might be your best play. Like spring training, just sell everything during spring training at that point.
Definitely. That's definitely
that's your last
sell. It's a sell.
Chance. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, ideally, you would have done it during the summer months when he was having this tremendous season, and then postseason, you're ready. Just list everything.
Right. The problem is I wasn't looking for it.
I was looking for 60 home runs. What?
Yeah, well, after like 50, I was like, okay, I got to pull out all the Cal Raleigh rookie cards here.
Well, you did show us a few in our chat, and I've been too lazy, but I'm going to look through my boxes too. The 2022, season, right?
And this is a success story of ripping. This is like why I like ripping in general. I ripped a lot, but when you look back, some cards can just jump out of the blue. Like all my Ohtani base, like you're saying, they're like $100 raw. It's like I knew that they were going to boom too. So I graded them in bulk, got a lot of PSA 10s, ended up selling. At that time, I was happy at like $200 PSA 10s. So, you know, this is the ripping success story, if there is one.
This is another reason why, if you have a significant other, you're like, this is why I got to keep my cards, okay? Don't throw it out. This is why I got to keep my cards. You never know what's going to happen. All right. Great story there. Let's finish our episode with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. All right. Do you want to start things off for us? As
sure.
You usually do?
I'm gonna go off topic again. So we're going to take a break from Judge and stuff, but because there was a massive sale actually earlier September that I just realized, and I gotta give credit to Slab Stocks who posted this, and they're two similar cards in terms of, I guess, status, and two players that are, I guess, similar, Tatis and Vladdy. Okay, so recently a gold refractor Tatis, so it's on September 13th, a gold Bowman Chrome 2016 Fernando Tatis Jr. auto, gold, true gold, PSA 10, auto 10, sold for $29,000, which is crazy because I remember at one point people are trying to sell that at like $5K. No one would budge. But regardless, that's a healthy sale. Kind of alluding back to what we were talking about earlier on the show. It's a similar trend. People see the value, long-term potential, and then they kind of make the calculated risk. But that same... in 2025, earlier this year, a Vladdy Orange auto sold for $23,000. And I know this was back in March, okay? But I'm just saying, okay, if you have $25,000, your budget was like between 23 and 29K, let's just say.
Yeah.
I want to know the justification of why you would spend it on Tatis or why you would spend it on Vladdy at that price point. So which one are you picking? Because Slab Stock like posted both sales. I'm interested what you would pick.
What was the Vladdy graded?
PSA 10, auto 10, same thing, orange.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna take the Toronto Blue Jays bias out, but even then, I think the talent wise is pretty similar. You know, in terms of the number of home runs they could hit. You know, the potential of home runs they could hit. I think they both hit around in their 20s this year, 25 plus home runs. Vladdy's just a better contact hitter. I think he batted over 300 this year. And so beyond even the stats, I'm really looking at the orange versus gold. Like for the rarity. I mean, I thought when you said orange, it would have been much higher than whatever number you said, 23, 24.
And that was earlier this year. So you got to assume that there probably is a premium.
It's higher.
So that was my follow-up question. I knew you were going to pick Vladdy for a multitude of reasons. What's the price point now? If we're comparing, because I use the Tatis as a benchmark because that just proves that there is a market. Like the market is real. $29,000. I think that's a record-breaking price for the Tatis Gold.
Yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, I would pay $10K more, definitely.
Like a 35K?
No-brainer. Yeah, no brainer. Especially for PSA 1010. But yeah, the latest sell was the one you're talking about, March 29, 2025. At PSA 9 sold during COVID 2022 for $36,000. PSA 10 January 22 sold for $85,000.
Crazy. For the Vladdy Orange?
Vladdy Orange PSA 10 no auto grade. That's $85,000 January 2022.
Yeah, I think that's a great buy. Like, I think that $35K would be a great purchase.
Knowing
price.
that marker, 35 would be a great deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
40 tops maybe.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, based on where the market is going. So that was like I agree. I'd pick Vladdy too in this case, but my whole point was exactly what we were talking about. These cards are going for crazy money again. And it's the boom again. And it's additional zeros from where, you know, it could potentially go to. And that's what we're seeing is like, will it exceed all-time highs where it's going to be over that 85K marker?
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
a good question.
Crazy.
Yeah. Love it. Love the hobby right now. All right. That's a good one. Here's mine. It's 3 cards for you to consider. They all sold exactly for $102,000. Okay. $102,000. And they all sold on the same day, September 26th. So just last week. Card number 1, the iconic 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle BGS 5. All right. Second card, the 2004 Mundi Chromo Liga Lionel Messi rookie card, PSA 10. And the third card, another iconic card, the 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor of Kobe Bryant, his rookie card. And it's a PSA 10, but it's got an NBA silver on it as well. So you got that premium.
And can you give me pop counts for each?
Pop count for the 1952 Mickey Mantle BGS 5 is 1.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that means anything, but the PSA 10 for the Lionel Messi, pop count's 47. And the Topps Chrome Refractor, pop count is 63, but it does have that MBA sticker on it. Yeah.
Wow. This is tough because I would assume that well, I guess you could do both because every card has a sell price, right? So I think you could treat everyone as a flip, but you could also see this as this is passing on long-term investment. It's going to keep on going up because I think all those cards you mentioned are going to keep on going up. So for me, it's how aggressive do you think each card has, I guess? Because I feel like the mantle it could be the flip, it could be the long-term play. Any card could be depending on the market and the demand for it, right? But I feel like Messi's still playing, so there's still some factors in there. Kobe Bryant, he's always going to be relevant, but will he get lost? I don't think so. So there's that play. But for 100K, you said?
Yep, just over 402.
You can't go wrong with this. But for me, I think I got to go with the 1952 Topps Mantle. I think anytime you have a chance at that price point, I just think it's not necessarily the safest play. It's so iconic.
Yeah.
Any grade.
I mean, because it's so iconic in that way, it is kind of the safest play, right? The more iconic it is, the value will hold up over time.
Right.
I agree with you. I'm going with the Mickey Mantle. The BGS 5, if you saw a picture of it, it's beautifully centered. That also helps when you actually look at the card. The clarity is there. And yeah, the Topps Chrome Refractor is nice, but I should say it has a little bit of greening.
So I was gonna say that. I was gonna say what really like kind of like scares me about these Chrome cards is I don't know how they're gonna age. And I've seen some disastrous greening on Kobe's, you know. So I'm just saying that's what scares me about these Chrome cards.
And then for the Messi, exactly, right? And then for the Messi, it's not the 71 BIS, the card that everyone wants to go for. So it's a secondary almost rookie card, high-end rookie. So it's not the one that people like to chase, but it's still a nice card. And I think a lot of that value is because it is a PSA 10 as well.
And on that point too, that could be the largest short-term potential play because he's still playing and there might be something that he does that requires another boom in Messi's market or whatever it may be. So, but where I don't see that from the Mantle or Kobe perspective.
That we agree on. Yep. All right. Another great episode. We appreciate you guys listening in, tuning in every week, and we'll have a brand new episode for you next week. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.